Hello. So, I said I was gonna talk about the movies and TV shows I watched in 2019, and I am. I'm gonna go through the list that I have, and when one of them really, like, strikes a chord with me, and I remember how much I loved it, I'm gonna talk about it at that moment, as opposed to waiting until the end, because I feel like it'll just flow better. So, here we go. In order, starting from the top, the new year last year, I watched the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt second half of the season that aired, so 4B. It was an amazing way to end because it was the final series, so I loved that. Next was Vikings season 5B. Next is Legends of Tomorrow season 3. You was interesting because Mary was here visiting, and I actually was watching season 1, and I told her, I'm like, you should watch this. Bodyguard season 1 was incredible. I really like Richard Madden. That was just an incredible show. It was really short, like only 6 episodes, but it really it didn't leave you super suspenseful, and it was just incredible, and a lot of people were recommending it, and like I said, I'm a fan of Richard Madden. Can't wait for the Eternals. Medici The Magnificent. That series has blown my mind because my favorite actor is Daniel Sharman. Richard Madden was Cosimo Medici. He played incredibly in the first season. When we were in Florence, like my family, they mentioned that they were making a film about this, and I was like, that's so weird. And then 2 days later, Daniel Sharman announces on his Instagram, like while we're still in Florence, or maybe even in Rome at that point, that he was gonna be starring as Lorenzo in season 2 and season 3 of Medici. I was just blown away because I had no idea what to expect from the show, but it's so crazy to trace back like all the things that happened within my finding out about the show, watching it, being obsessed with it, and then one of my favorite actors is in it, and then it's a fantastic show, and it's on Netflix, and I'm waiting for season 3 to drop. It's incredible, and I love them both, and they're fantastic, and they play the role really well. And it's just all of it's so beautiful, and it's just amazing, so I can't wait for season 3. The Flash season 5. So we live in Vancouver, and there's tons of filming in downtown all the time, and I've just seen The Flash like posted up and filming in different places, and I have a video on this channel earlier in my time here where I actually found one of the filming sites, and I just went and just was hanging out there. Didn't meet anybody or anything crazy, but they were actually filming for the crossover in 2018. So funny to see them using these spaces that I walk through like on a daily basis, and just seeing it randomly in the show. Like, it's just so incredible to see that's like where I live. Before that, we'd watched the show and we didn't live here, so it didn't really mean much. And now we see it and we're like, oh my God, it makes the show completely different when you're watching it. So I'm a bit of a cartoon nut. I never really got into The Simpsons ever. I just didn't. It took me like a month or 2 to get through all of those because it was just kind of on in the background when I was doing work most of the time. Game of Thrones season 8. It just kind of fell flat for me, and I feel like the same for most people, and it was the end of a really long series that, like, I find that when shows go for that long, it's really hard to finish it on a high note, especially given all the things that have happened. And yeah, that's it. So we watched Legends of Tomorrow season 4 also this year. I've been told time and time again, because I loved How I Met Your Mother, that I should watch Parks and Rec. I watched Parks and Rec and I really enjoyed it. Like, the first season was a little bit painful, not gonna lie, but I feel like most shows, once you get past that first like pilot season, it ends up being pretty addicting and pretty good. Black Mirror I track it a little bit differently. My family's been recommending me to watch Hated in the Nation for a long time. So I found that pretty monumental because that episode was pretty exceptional and I really enjoyed it, so I would recommend you watch it. We have Bob's Burgers season 9, like I said, love my cartoons. Modern Family I took a break from for a little bit, but I watched season 8 and season 9 this year. The Night Shift is a fantastic show that got canceled way too early in my opinion, and it was on Netflix, and I had not watched it in a very long time in hopes that there would be 2 or 3 seasons there that I could just binge watch over break. And I was wrong. Family Guy season 17, I mean, I've been watching that show for so long. I feel like half of my brain is just quotes from Family Guy sometimes because I just know it so well at this point. Young and Hungry is quite similar to The Night Shift, in which I left it for a while. I was hoping that when I went back to it, there would be a couple seasons racked up, and there were only 2. American Dad season 14 was really good too. So, Archer season 10, I watched that as well. So Archer season 10 is interesting because he's finally coming out of his coma, and I think it's going to be really cool to see because they've had, I think at this point, 8, 9, and 10, he's all in a coma. So there's been 3 seasons of like no actual like in real life plot, and I'm looking forward to them seeing what's up because he woke up at the end of season 10. So I'm excited about that. This one needs everybody's attention because this is a fantastic show that I've been recommending to many people. Anyone who will listen to me, I will recommend them to watch Travelers on Netflix. It was a fantastic show that was also filmed in Vancouver, so all of the streets we know, we've been, like, it was phenomenal. Like, watch it. Mindhunters. We watched season 2 first because one of our friends from college was actually an extra in it and didn't show up until the final episode, but we watched all the way through, and it's basically about how the whole term and concept of investigating serial killers came to be. American Ninja Warrior. Watch it every year, big fan. Killjoys season 5 was their final season, and it's actually a show that Tommy introduced to me a couple years ago. I finally caved and just watched the entire series of The Office because the entire thing was on Netflix anyway. The Resident season 2, this is a show that I started watching with my friends in college. We'd get together on like, what, Monday or Tuesday night whenever it would come out. It was maybe even a Wednesday sometimes. Man in the Hight Castle season 4, it's really good. It's basically a show about, it's also filmed in Vancouver, but like, it's what if the Axis powers won World War II. So it's basically the United States is split with the Japanese Pacific states and the Nazi Reich. Give it a watch. I actually really enjoyed the show otherwise, but it's heavy, I will say. It's quite heavy, so be ready for that. Rick and Morty season 4 part 1, because they split up their shows. So I think there were only, was it 5 or 6 episodes in the first half of the season? I programmed you to believe that. And Slut Dragons. Gosh. It's funny, it's Rick and Morty, like, it's so good. So that wraps up with 27 different TV shows that I watched for the first time that I'd never seen before, so. And I've debated going forward, like, sharing more of like a monthly basis of what I've done or what I've watched, because I think it'll make more sense for me to review it right after I've watched it, but I'm still gonna track it and do like a year review at the end of all the things that I've watched so I can have like a grand total like I'm doing right now. Now on to movies. This is a much shorter list, we watched Ender's Game. When Mary was here at the end of at the beginning of 2019, the end of January, I decided that I was finally ready to watch Avicii True Stories, and that was a really difficult thing for me to do because I took the death of him very hard, like personally. Not like to the point where I was like deeply depressed, but to the point where like it saddened me a great deal to know that an artist that I enjoyed so thoroughly and like music kind of in a way changed my life was gone. Like, and I would never get to hear one of his songs again. And it made me quite sad. And it was something that I cried about a little bit when I found out. And obviously I didn't know him personally, but I feel like I don't really need to justify. Like, I feel like, especially with what's happened with Kobe Bryant recently and a lot of people being deeply saddened, like, Tommy even said, like, he's like, I didn't think it would hit me this hard. And I was like, I 100% can understand that, because you almost feel silly because it's not somebody you know personally, but in a way you did because of the kind of impact they had on you. And for Tommy, it was for basketball. And for me, it was music. And I watched it with Mary because I was just really, I was ready to watch it. And so I've shared a lot with Mary about his like music and different things, and I sent her a lot of the stuff from the Tim album, and it was just a really big part of like something I wanted to do. And I was finally like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it. And we watched it together. It was, you know, his life before everything had happened, and now, or sorry, before he had taken his life, and it was just something that I needed to watch, and it's very personal for me. So yeah, that was something that I found really important and wanted to really make sure I'd seen. All right, next we have Into the Spider-Verse. This was a masterpiece. Oh my God, I watched it like 4 times in the first like 3 weeks because I'd showed it to so many people. Edge of Tomorrow! That was a great movie. Live, die, repeat, right? So it's funny because the first Rick and Morty episode is like the same kind of premise. Anyway, it was really good. My dad actually had it at our house like on DVD because we still have like a bunch of DVDs for all of our like movies that we really enjoy. We just buy the DVD version of, and it was like, it had been out for a while from what I recall. Like, it wasn't like a new movie by any means. Yeah, it came out in 2014, so it was older than I thought actually. I thought it was like 2016. But yeah, that was a really good movie, and just like the whole concept is just fun. Like I said, I love sci-fi films, so like that was just like, it was fun. It was just like a good movie, you know? It was just good. Next we have Captain Marvel, because watching Marvel obviously is like definitely something I was gonna do. Like, I'm not gonna miss a single one of those movies, like just no chance. And then less than a month later, the next film that I watched was Endgame. So Avengers Endgame was really good, really great way to end the entire like 21, 22 movie crazy 10-year long MCU thing. Like, we watched Venom on the plane, and it was actually really good. Spider-Man Far From Home gave me a lot of feels because I was in Venice like last summer, so it was just so like fun to see this film in July, I believe it came out. Yeah, like before we went back to Venice. It was just like, it was so fun. And then I made one of my posts, I thought I was so clever, Timorino's Far From Home. Like, it was just so, it was a good movie because I got to see all that again, but it was just a really great movie to kick off the next phase. And then it took a little break for a while, apparently only watched repeated movies for the next couple months, and then did nothing until Rise of Skywalker came out. Because, like I said, very short list, literally 9 movies. Rise of Skywalker, a lot of people did not like it. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I actually really liked it. Yeah, basically, I really enjoyed it. Don't really get why people are so hard on it. I think people just want to hate it. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, didn't want to hate it, and didn't hate it. This is probably a very long video unless I edited out a lot of my comments about things, but basically that is all the television and movie content that I consumed in 2019. One of those things where it's like a hobby of mine and I really enjoy watching new things. And I think I'm gonna end the video here because it seems like it's gonna be a pretty long one. So thanks for watching, and thinking of making those more monthly type what I watched this month for movies, definitely, and then maybe do TV shows at the end of the year. I haven't really sussed that out yet, but I think that makes more sense because then I can do a more honest review about what I watched. So stay tuned for that, because I'm pretty sure like January, I can do January's in the next couple days, and I would actually be very excited to do that and make just that its own video.